Hello, Tim here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about something that's kind of a fun tip that you'll find very useful in several applications. And some of the future episodes that I will be doing, I'll refer back to this one right now. What it is how do you hold a small workpiece on your bench so you can work with it with both hands, whether you're sanding it or routing it or carving particularly, or turning. Sometimes too small of a piece you can't clamp down. This is a rosette, for example, that I turned and carved, and you see how thin that is. And there was a way that I used to hold that down so I could carve it. This is another example of rope carving. This is actually rope molding that's factory made, and you can see a little piece of it here. I had to make something that looked like a knot. This went on a kitchen cabinet door one time. I did several of them. This is just a mock-up, and the way this was held down on a piece of wood that we call a spoil board. This is something that's discarded when it's done, and it's held on by simply just paper. Let me show you all that you need here to get your workpiece glued down to your spoil board, so you have something that you can clamp down and your clamps are out of the way. So what we're going to need here is your workpiece, spoil board, a piece of paper, and this is regular legal pad type paper. Newspaper works really good. Even grocery bag it's a little thicker. Your clamps, you can either use a brayer, which is not that expensive at an art supply store, or your finger. So I'll use a brayer first. And the thing with the brayer is it just spreads it out nice and even. Okay, so this piece of pine is my workpiece, and I spread the glue evenly with the brayer. Now I put it on the paper, mush it around a little bit, and I'll flip it over and bend that paper down so you see your parameters. The paper will get a little wrinkly, which is okay. Now put the glue on again on the back side here. And now I'm spreading it out with my fingers, so you can do it in kind of circular motion. You just want to get an even spread. So to recap, either a brayer, and if you're going to do a lot of gluing up, and the reason I like the brayer actually better is that when you're ready to glue up, you don't have glue all over your fingers. So then you get it on your clamps and your clothes and things. All right, so now I orientate the grain the way I want it, or whatever, if that matters to you or not. And then I'm using just some small hand screw clamps, just 2 of them in this case. Squeeze it down enough so that you see a little bead of glue coming out. I love these clamps because you can do so much with them. And the back one here, this one here, puts the pressure on once they're parallel. So now you can see how the bead squeezes out. And at this point, I usually just kind of peel the excess paper off. And let her dry. Now we're all clamped up here, and it's pretty near dry, so I'm going to take these off. I'm going to let it cure for another hour or so. But you clamp it in, now I can hold it in this vise here. If you have something like this and your hands are free, or if you need to, you can clamp this to your bench. You use these out here and they're out of the way, or some other kind of C-clamp. but I prefer to use this here. And so there we have it. That's how the workpiece is held, and that's, you can see the paper residue. I use newspaper on this one here. When this is all dry and you're done with your thing, then you can pop it off with a chisel. You just take a chisel and pop it. You see how that just splits right on the paper joint. And that's what it looks like. And you sand that off. Now I'm not ready to do that with this yet because I haven't worked it. So that's how it's done. The purpose of this video is just to simply show you how a paper joint holds your workpiece together so you can do what you got to do to it and then split it or take it off. So if you enjoy what you've seen and it's helpful, give a thumbs up and subscribe if you would. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.